Happy Friday. Got a video here for you today that I am excited about. Today I'm going to be going over what is going in my pack in 2026. I made a few changes here recently. A few more coming maybe, depending on how our trips go this summer, but got my setup here pretty dialed in, and I'm going to go over what's in it. First section I'm going to go over, first category I suppose, is going to be what I'm wearing while I'm hiking. Now this, a lot of people try and go ultralight in their outfit too. I mostly go for sun coverage is my main goal because I don't like taking sunscreen. I don't like wearing sunscreen on big parts of my body. Nor do I don't really like the oils it leaves behind either when I'm trying to sleep. My sleeping bag gets all my gear kind of messy. So here is what I wear to try and combat the sun. I have a few different sun hats that I'll wear. I have a wide brim one. I have this one which I really like. It's got the Sahara shade on the back, baseball cap style. If I want to just tuck this up inside and wear it like just a baseball cap, I can do that too. But I usually wear it with that shade down. Not the lightest hat around. There's absolutely lighter hats. This one keeps the sun off of me. I like it. Makes me happy. So that's my hat. Come here. Lay down. So I actually bring two buffs. And one of them serves as my beanie. It's a little bit thicker, made of merino wool. And the other one I have is a little bit lighter in color and in weight. And it is more of a sunshade for my face. Can put this on, keeps my face covered. It's a nice light color, reflects the light. It's a little bit thinner, it's easier to breathe through. And I think this has insect shield, which I think means the knit is too small. Things can't really get through it all that easily. So two buffs saves me a beanie, and I have a pair of Outdoor Research fingerless sun gloves. These are really nice. They work really well to keep the backs and tops of my hands from getting sunburned. The one thing I don't love about these are the little rubber dots on the hands. They don't do a whole lot. They help a little bit with gripping trekking poles, but it's really not super noticeable. And all I have really noticed is that they will start to come off. And I don't know, I'm a little bit concerned about leaving little microplastics out in the backcountry. So if I see them start to come off, I see them start lifting off, I usually just tear them real quick. Get rid of them before it becomes a problem in the backcountry at least. But I like these gloves. They're super lightweight and definitely keep the sun off of me. And my sun shirt, there are a million sun shirts out there. I own about half of them. I have two of these Outdoor Research Echo hoodies. These are really, really nice sun shirts. Super light, very airy. They do a really great job keeping the sun off of you. This one I have in a nice light color, helps reflect the light. I have one also in black for what it's worth. If it's maybe a chillier day, I can wear that to stay a little warmer. I also have the Crater Lake hoodie, the Mountain Hardwear hoodie. It's nice too. It's a nice material. It's definitely a little bit heavier, but it's a little bit stretchy, very airy. And I have a cool sun shirt, which is nice. It's comfortable. It's more of an athletic fit. It fits a little tight under the armpits, which I kind of like. I don't like a lot of bagginess here under the arms. But that one is also a little bit heavier. This one, super light, really, really nice. So I'll usually take this one. I like this one. Sunglasses, I'll just wear my normal Costa sunglasses. There are lighter options out there. I'm not too worried about that. I also carry a bug out pocket knife. It's a Benchmade pocket knife, 1.5 ounces for a miniature full-on folding locking knife. Maybe a little more extravagant than you need in the backcountry. You could probably get away with just a scalpel blade or a razor blade just fine for 90% of what you would need to cut. But I like having a little bit more of a substantial knife, so I take the bug out. Still pretty light for a knife. And then just for peace of mind all the way around, an InReach Mini. These guys are nice. They don't weigh a whole lot, a few ounces, and makes my parents happy, makes Kat's parents happy, gives me some peace of mind if I'm on a solo trip, that if something really awful were to happen, I can just hit the button and it's all good. no worries. It sits right here, usually on my backpack strap, right at my shoulder. Easy to get to, easy to access if I were to fall. I don't have to dig for it. I don't have to get into a pocket. It's right there, easy to get to. So there's that. I don't take my wallet usually when I'm hiking. It's bulky, it's heavy, and it's, I'd argue, a little unsafe. So I'll usually take an expired ID card and a little bit of cash, and I'll slide that into a trading card sleeve. Maybe put a rubber band around that, a small rubber band to keep it all locked in there. But it weighs absolutely nothing. You could even put it into a sleeve and then put another sleeve over that with the opening down inside, so it's a little more watertight. But yeah, usually I just take an ID and a little bit of cash for emergencies. If we have to stop at a store on the way out, get food, pay someone for giving us a ride for hitchhiking, anything like that, I have that. So it's pretty much all I take in my pockets. There's a couple other things that I'll talk about in a later section. Next group is gonna be my big three. This is what works for me, and this is also something that changes depending on when I'm going, who I'm going with, and how long I'm going. And this is my setup most of the time, but I'll go over what changes if it does. So, first thing I have here, and this will change sometimes, my tent. In this case, this is the REI Flash Air 1, the old discontinued one, with the footprint and stakes and the little pole to keep the crown set up. It sits right at about, it's like 1 pound, 6 ounces. Yeah, somewhere in there. Great little tent. I'm about 5'9". It's perfect for me. If you were any taller than, say, 6 foot, it would probably be too small. I'd say 6 foot is probably even pushing it a little bit. It's a rather small tent, but there's enough room in there, plenty of room around my head. I can sit up and have tons of headroom, no problem. And it's got a pretty sizable vestibule, so I can keep my shoes and my pack right outside in the vestibule, and they're covered completely from any rain. So that's my tent. Works great for me. If I'm going with Kat and we're both sleeping in a tent, then I have a Big Agnes Copper Spur UL2 Platinum, and it's somewhere in the realm of about 2 pounds, just under 2 pounds, the way I have it packed out, and fits both of us just fine. We can throw our packs down at our feet, and we have plenty of headspace, and yeah, works out great for us. And it's a bomb-proof tent. That thing has been through hell with me. And it is just rock solid. There's many times I've been caught in the windstorms. I thought for sure it was going to tear or split, and I'd be patching it up with little pieces of gear aid. But no, never happened. That thing is it's rock solid. Can't say enough amazing things about that tent. So for a 2-person tent, it is perfect. I also have a couple of tarps. I've never done any serious trips with them. They've just kind of been in the background of my kit. Nothing really to shout about there. We are looking at other things, though, just to kind of shake things up. The 2-person shelters, we're looking at the Durston Pro 2 or Pro 2 Plus. They seem pretty enticing, those weights for a 2-person tent, so possibly that in the future. But for now, that 1-person tent for me, future trips. Sleeping pad. This is the Thermarest Neo Air X-Lite NXT, the newer one. Pretty light for an air pad with an R value of 5.6. So, I mean, probably even overkill for summer, but I like a comfy warm pad. I'm just like that. Also wrapped up inside of this is my pillow, which is the Outdoor Vitals pillow. Honestly, I think it's kind of slept on. It's got those same kind of grippy dots on the bottom of it that keep it from sliding around while you're sleeping. It also has a little shock cord that goes around the bottom of your sleeping pad to keep it further from sliding around too much. And then I also will often slide my buff over that pillow just to give it a little bit of a feel like a pillowcase. So that's that. That's that box or that bag. I loved this pad. This pad was so nice, so comfortable, so warm. It was perfect. But they are so delicate. I popped 3 of them. The first one just leaked almost out of the gate. It was leaky. And then I had them replace it, had that one, popped it, sent it in. They replaced it. Thank you, Nemo. Your warranty is incredible. And then that one sprung a leak too. And when I sent in my warranty claim, they offered me a Quasar instead because it's more durable, but it's like 3 times the weight. I said, no, I like my Nemo. And this one is actually the one that still has the hole in it. I never sent in the last one. I needed it short notice, so that's when I ended up getting the Thermarest. And the Thermarest is actually, I think, an ounce lighter. It's just a little bit lighter. And this one is the Mummy pad. Not a huge fan of the Mummy style. I really like the rectangular ones, but it works. Whatever. So, yeah. Thermarest now. Nemo, not so much anymore. Next up would be my quilt, which is a Hammock Gear 40-degree economy burrow from when they still did the economy burrows. Bright orange on the outside, black on the inside. My 20-degree is the same colors pretty much. I think it's gray on the inside. Good for emergencies. Drawstring foot box, so I can open this up flat, use it just like a blanket, and I can cinch that closed. And then you can unzip it. It's got a zipper all the way down so it opens flat. I don't super care for the old style clips to keep the pad together. Just these little kind of weird S-clips. They don't do much for you. They're kind of, honestly, they're a little goofy, these things here. But yeah, anyway. This guy, I've laundered it a couple of times. It doesn't need it too often. It always lofts up really, really well. And if the down ever moves around too much, I just go through and kind of move it around, move it back towards the middle. It can't, make sure it's all squared away before I throw it in my tent. And yeah, it's a solid quilt. Really, really enjoy that. Packs down pretty small, weighs almost nothing. It's a 40-degree. The obvious. The pack. So these days, I'm probably going to be going with this pack most of the time. This is the REI Flash Air 50 liter pack. It's got a pocket on the front. It's got 4 pockets on the sides, 2 on each side, 2 bigger ones, and then 2 water bottle pockets. So I really, really like those storage pockets for my cook system and my fishing gear on either side there. Then it has the big main body with the roll top. And with that roll top, you can usually get a little extra space out of it. Because the 50 liter is measured from all the way down level with the top of the pack. Padded hip belts, hip belt pockets, love it. Keep snacks, headphones, whatever in here. And it's got the little tension strap over the top. And then I've got a Nilo Flume pack liner in there in case the rain comes. That's what all this nonsense goes into. So now the clothing I take, I've cut this down significantly. I used to take wool, everything. I would take extra underwear, spare change of socks. Overkill. I might still bring a spare change of socks and maybe spare change of underwear so I can rotate. But I'm only bringing 1 shirt, and I've swapped out my wool base layers for alpha layers. I've got a pair of alpha bottoms here, the pants. They're 90, Alpha Direct 90 GSM. And then I've got some 90 GSM socks as well. And so those are my new sleep clothes. That cut the wool weight out completely, almost. So I got those. I still held on to the wool shirt as a sleeping shirt, just to kind of keep the smell down in my bag a little bit. I feel like this would be a little more comfortable against the skin at night than alpha. Yeah, just for a comfort factor and a warmth factor. In the earlier season trips and the late season trips, I'll take that. Stay warm at night in my bag. But that has already cut a significant amount of weight off of my pack, just changing out that wool for alpha, so super stoked about that. Let's check my notes here. Oh, my puffy. I swapped out my REI puffy and the Patagonia puffy that I was taking for, boom, decathlon. This is the Simon, boom, 800 or 850. This is the large size, definitely an athletic fit. If you're a larger person, get the larger size. This is a large, fits me all right. It's a little tight in the stomach. I'll lose weight by the time we really start hiking in the season, but won't be really a problem then, but right now it's just a little tight. But I like the colors. This one's the moss, I think. Moss green or sage green, something like that. Good green. Super light. I think this is 290 grams. Has front pockets, has interior pockets for keeping your devices warm at night. You can throw your devices in that inside pocket. Has the hood also, so the hood with the buff on my head makes a great beanie. So this has been an excellent addition. This cut a few ounces off just from my hoodless REI puffy. That thing is 650 fill down. It's not as warm, and it's even a little heavier. So stoked about that change. That is it for clothing so far. I'm planning on adding rain and wind gear because we're doing a longer trip in the high country where the weather's going to be a little more unpredictable. So I'm going to be doing the widely recommended Ripstop dance warm-up pants from Amazon that everybody seems to love. And then I'm probably going to pair that with either a Frog Togs, if I'm feeling cheap, or possibly a Helium rain jacket. I've heard mixed reviews about the Helium, and it sounds like, honestly, if I just cut some vents into the armpit of my Frog Togs, it'd be about the same. So thinking about going that route. We'll see. Probably Frog Togs, though. But that'll add about 8 ounces. Call it 8 and change, so call it 9 ounces to my pack if I add that. And that'll just be for trips where I maybe expect a little bit of rain or weather. So that's it for clothing for now. I don't have any rain or wind gear yet. The dance pants will be here soon. I'll add those first. Those are about 3 ounces. And those will be a perfect leg wind layer. And then I can throw my puffy on for anything else. So not super worried about that. Okay, this next category is going to be my essentials. Now, essentials is a strong word. This is the word I'm going to use. This is what I consider essential, I guess, to some degree. But first one, I think we'll all agree, the water filter, water system, very, very important. I'm a Too Smart water bottle kind of guy. I like it. It's simple. It fits. It's a good amount of water. I try and stay hydrated while I'm hiking. So a lot of water is important. And then my filter, I've got the CNOC Vector X, I think, the stronger one. Thicker walled, and it has a little hang string I have on there, just some thin cordage for hanging it from a low branch, for a gravity filter if I so choose. And then I've got the full-size Sawyer squeeze filter for filtering. Flow rate has been awesome on that. I've used it for a couple of years now. No issues. I always back flush and clean it afterwards. I think I forgot one time, but back flushed it, let it sit, and it runs fine now. So happy with that. And then I've also got it's a sport cap for a smart water bottle. And I haven't tried it, but as far as I can tell, people use these for back flushing their filters in the field. So I've got that on hand here to try. So that's my first essential, the water system. Next up, shit kit. Deuce of spades for digging that cat hole. Pro tip, dig your cat hole as soon as you've pitched your tent. Okay, make it like the second thing you do when you get to a new campsite. If you don't already do this, you'll thank yourself later, because you do not want to dig a hole in granite and rocks and be in that moment. Okay, it's no fun. Been there many times. Dig your hole as soon as you get to camp. All right, find a nice soft spot, take your time, find privacy, remember where you dug it, and have it ready, just in case. Also, a new thing I'm going to try this year, I picked up a backcountry bidet. Screws on to the top of a water bottle and is supposed to clean you up. I mean, you know what a bidet does. Never tried it. We'll try it this year. I've also got some dude wipes here, just for polish work, finish work, and just a couple of hand wraps of teepee for drying. But definitely trying to reduce my footprint there in the backcountry, so trying that, we'll see how it goes. Next essential is going to be my first aid kit. This is probably a little more built out than most people's first aid kit, but in my defense, it has more than just first aid. It's also gear repair and my toothbrush stuff. But for my first aid kit, I've got a handful of Band-Aids, different sizes for different blisters or cuts, scrapes, what have you. I've got a couple of alcohol wipes in here for cleaning up areas, a small roll of Leukotape in here, and a set of 5-point titanium tweezers, and a little screw top cap of Neosporin for keeping things clean and disinfected. And that's about it for, well, actually, I also have a couple of like stick-on stitches, zip wound closures, maybe a little redundant, maybe a little silly, and by the time I'm needing something like this, I'm probably hiking out or hitting that SOS button, but I don't know, they weigh nothing. They weigh a gram or two each, so I just throw them in there just in case I gotta close something up, if I fall and land on something sharp, if I slip with my knife, who knows. So I have those just in case. Like I said, also in here is my toothbrush toothpaste. I also keep the bug spray in here, little bottle of bug spray. That adds quite a bit of weight to my first aid kit. And then I've also got a couple of emergency matches, long burn matches, for starting fires in case all my lighters quit working. And then a couple inches of gear aid tape for patching jackets or tents, something like that. I think that's everything. That's everything for the first aid kit. Last essential, I guess, or second to last essential, I guess the quick one is the food bag. This is getting replaced with the DCF bag. This is just a sill bag with a little bundle of rope and a little mini beaner inside. When I switch to the DCF, that'll shave almost an ounce off of this, but I won't say too much about that. Food bag for hanging, not a big deal. Electronics, I've minimized this quite a bit. I used to take a little set of string lights. I might still from time to time, but I swapped out all of my chargers for this multi-charger. Boom, 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 boom. It's got a bunch of different chargers on there. This significantly cut weight from my chargers. I was surprised. This cut it like over half. So props to that little thing. Also in here, this is usually worn while I'm hiking, but it's a little set of wired earbuds. Put a little pep in my step. This is my flex tail pad inflator, but this is also my headlamp. So it has a little hook on the back I can hang from my belt loop or my collar and use this in place of a headlamp. Works fine. I can set it down while I'm cooking, shines light on everything, and it's, like I said, pad pump. Kind of nice. I can just turn it on, let it inflate my pad, and not worry about it at all. So happy with that. And then this is the Nightcore 10,000 milliamp battery. Good for what ails you. That's pretty much it for my essentials, kind of miscellaneous things. Next up, cook system. Toaks Titanium, 750 milliliter pot. I use a crossband from Lightsmith to keep it all together. Weight a little less than the stuff sack. I put some high temp silicone tubing on the handles, which helps keep it a little cooler to the touch. So even if the flame comes up underneath the handle a little bit, when you grab it, it's still handleable. In here, I've got my stove. I take the Soto Windmaster. I've taken the BRS. I don't like it. I know it's light. I know it's cheap. You can just replace it. It's super loud. Everybody around knows you have one. And it isn't very fuel efficient, and it sucks in the wind. So for those reasons and more, it stays behind. But I really like the Soto Windmaster. Mine is starting to get a little bit corroded. I probably put it away a little wet last time. I'll clean it up. But this thing is solid. The sparkers go out. I've had like 2 or 3 of these that I take back because the sparker goes out. I've given up taking it back for the sparker. I just have accepted that that's going to go out. Instead, I carry a little mini Bic in a plastic bag with a cannibalized sparker from another lighter. Just in case that Bic runs out or its sparker goes out, I have a backup little sparker. Together, those weigh, I think, 6 grams. Also in here, I have a light load towel. Just a little rag for cleaning my cook pot, wiping things down. Also serves as a little bit of a cushion. Help keep the stove from scratching the bottom of the pot. So that all lives in there, and then that goes with the fuel into one of the storage pockets on the side of my pack. I also carry the long handle titanium spoon with polish bowl. because I don't like the way anodized titanium feels on my teeth. Totally a personal thing. Some people don't notice a difference, don't care. I notice, I care. So I got the polished bowl. Spork too, a little more versatile. And then I added a small little hook there just so that I can lift the lid off my pot. It was a little more useful when I still had the bail handle on this pot. This used to have a bail handle so I could lift the whole pot off the fire. I took that off and ditched it. Didn't use it, didn't need it, but I kept the hook because I can hang my spoon on something to keep it off the ground too, which is kind of nice. But I can also lift that lid off and have it off to the side. So that's my cook kit. Okay, next category is miscellaneous. And if you saw my essentials and thought those were miscellaneous, you're gonna hate these. Maybe not, but one hill that I will die on every time, ass pad. This is the one I used to take, similar to a lot of the ones you guys have probably taken. Nothing special, couple ounces. This is the back out of a little backpack. This is the little comfort pad out of a little day pack. This is lighter, does the exact same thing. It's a fan, it's a fire fan, it's a bug swatter, it's a windscreen for your stove, it's a sunshade, it's a dry place to set things, a place to set your pack, a place to stand while you're changing your shoes. I mean, the uses never end with these. So yeah, that's a hill I'll die on. Always take the ass pad every time. I've taken chairs in the past. I have the Flash Air chair from REI. It's about £1. It's fine for, shorter trips. Longer trips, I'd avoid it. I ditched the larger pack towel. Now I'm just taking the small one. I was really only using it to dry my hands after washing my hands or to do a quick dry after swimming or bathing, maybe my face. So the big one was just a little overkill. Switched to the smaller one, and yeah, it'll be fine. We'll see how it goes with the smaller one. I'm not too worried about that. I already mentioned the wired earbuds. That's kind of miscellaneous. And I always bring a map of the area. That might go into essentials instead, but I put it under miscellaneous for some reason. But I always bring a map of the area. I used to bring a compass as well, but I kind of phased that out because I used my phone primarily for my maps. And I can pretty easily find my direction without a compass. Confident in that. So having that and the map was fine. I'm happy with that. 9 times out of 10, we know exactly where we are on trail. We know which lake we're heading to, what we're near. So not too worried about compass, but definitely take a map always. A couple things I'll mention. I don't really take anymore, and I'll mention why. But one thing is an ultralight day pack. This is a Lewis & Clark ultralight day pack. Packs down super small, like a tennis ball even. Really, really nice for taking quick day trips, peak bagging, fishing day trips, what have you, stuff like that. This one specifically I don't like because the rubber comes off of this, and I don't want to shed that into the environments when I'm out there. So this has stopped going with me. I've looked into the Sea to Summit and the Osprey options that are like this. They're fine. 2.5 ounces. If I was planning on doing a lot of peak bagging or day hiking, would definitely pack that. If it was like a longer trip, would definitely take that. Shorter trips, not too worried about it. I'll just take my big pack empty with a couple of things if I need a day pack. So, but that's an honorable mention. This depends on who I'm going with, but sometimes I'll take a little plastic flask and I'll pair this with like a little small stack, 2 or 3 of those shot glass red Solo cup shot glass plastic ones, and I'll have kind of a plastic shot theme going. But this is very dependent on who I'm going with. I don't always take this. I rarely take this, so do with that what you will. It's a nice ultralight flask, the PET bottles from Lightsmith. And then I'll also mention camp sandals. These are spa sandals that I got from work. They just were giving them away, big packs of them. They're probably looking for something else. But I actually took a second pair and took the soles off and glued the soles together on both of these, so they're double the thickness on the soles. And I glued the top strap down a little better so that it doesn't pop out that rivet. And They're surprisingly comfortable for just being little foam sandals. They work great against pine needles, small rocks, things like that. Glued together like this, they weigh just a little over an ounce. I think 32 grams, somewhere in there. And if you don't double them up, then they're about half that. They're about 16, 17 grams for a pair of sandals that will get you over pine needles. It won't handle rocks very well when they're just a single layer. But pine needles, all that, no problem. So stoked to find those. Make a nice ultralight camp sandal. So most of the time I'll take those as well. Now to my favorite category. The fishing category. This is my setup for backcountry fishing these days. This is I just made this. It's another one of those clear tubes. I think this is the T12 size I got for the Tenkara. It's a little smaller. A little bit of foam in the caps, and that's it. You're good. Glue that in. I always glue the bottom cap in so that just the top one comes off, and it's solid. Boom. Definitely lighter than the tube that it comes with. This guy, but nice ultralight protection there. And then this is the Zimmer-built, I think it's called the Micro Pack. In here I keep floatant. I'll probably find a different container for this. A couple spools of tippet in the front pocket. And my fly box for the Tenkara is just a little film canister. I wrap the leader around it, and I throw flies in here, and I'll throw a handful, and where I'm going, what time of year, and for how long will depend what flies go in here. But yeah, that's about it. This guy, I have some little split shots in here, and these, I'll probably leave this box behind and maybe just put 4 or 5 in a little piece of duct tape and fold it over on itself, so I just have a few of those on hand. And also in here right now I have a couple thingamabobbers, which are what I use on the river just around here, but if I'm in the backcountry I'll probably take a couple of small rubber bands and some high float yarn and just do yarny indicators. They work a little better. Anyway, there's that. That's my little kit. This guy comes out to about 85, 90 grams, the little fishing kit. This one I think is like 100-something grams for the rod and the tube. Pretty light. And those will go on the outside of my pack because I will fish at every creek crossing if you let me. That's about it. The only other gear that I take beyond that is my GoPro, a couple of batteries. So that obviously adds some weight, but if you're not creating content, if you're not trying to make videos, then completely nix that from the list. You don't have to worry about that. If you're not much of a fisherman, you nix that from the list, then everything here is just under 10 pounds. I'm a fisherman. I like to do that constantly when I'm in the backcountry around those lakes and streams, so that comes with me. And then I like to make videos. I like to go out there and share what I'm doing with everybody and share some of the sights, and lets my family and friends know what I'm up to and gives a little window into what I'm doing. So I'm willing to take on that extra weight. Most of the time it's worn as a necklace anyway, so it's not really in my pack. Still feel it, but not so much on my shoulders. That's everything I take. If you guys have questions, suggestions, anything like that, let me know. Drop a like if this helped you, if you found this interesting. I'll put my lighter pack link in the description, so if you want to kind of go in there and poke around and see what I'm taking and mess around with it, then yeah, that'll be there for you. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you found it useful. Catch you on the trail.